Dressing your toddler can be really fun. There are so many cute clothes out there. We could go crazy playing dress up. But it isn't all fun and games when our toddler starts staining these picture perfect outfits or starts fighting us wanting to wear the same thing over and over again. We'll be solving toddler clothing issues today with 5 tips plus a very effective bonus idea at the end. Hello, I'm Cassie from Custom Built Parenthood. I'm super excited to have you. If you are new around here, I have 3 kids, ages 2, 5, and 7. And if you're looking for ways to enjoy parenting more, go ahead and subscribe to my channel so that we can learn from all that you have to offer. So straight out the gate, let's talk about what our goal is for our toddler's wardrobe. The goals are to make life easier for us and our toddler, to avoid battles between us and our toddler, and to have enough control so that we feel comfortable to give some of that control to our toddler. All 5 tips are going to help us accomplish these goals. So let's start with number 1, which is location and organization. You want to be really smart about how your toddler's clothes are stored. The exact location of your kids' clothes really doesn't matter. You just want it to make sense for you and for your routine. So we want to make it as easy as possible for everybody to get dressed every single day. So your kids' room, your living room, wherever it is that will make it most convenient for you to manage your toddler getting dressed. The more important part of location, though, is that the clothes are really accessible to your toddler. So they should be low to the ground and really easy to get to. I have done different things over the years, but right now what's working for us are these baskets in this cubby. I'm here in my toddler's bedroom, so I have them organized by jammies right here on the top, and then there's all the bottoms in this basket, all the tops over here, and then diaper changing stuff. And this has been working really well for us. As you can see, it's totally on his level and just really easy for him to just slide out and grab what he needs. Now, I do have some earth-shattering news. I recently stopped folding all of my kids' clothes. I honestly enjoy folding just fine, but I noticed that I kind of turned into a bit of a monster when my kids would be crashing into their folded piles of clothes or carelessly dropping their piles of folded clothes on their way up the stairs. And because they're in charge of putting their clean clothes away, all of the clothes ended up unfolded and kind of messy in their drawers anyway. So basically, I just decided that until they were ready to manage their own folding and keeping their clothes organized, I was just wasting my time and energy and having just one more thing to get upset at them about. So I get clean laundry out of the dryer, I put it into a pile for each kid, and they're responsible for distributing that pile into their bins. My toddler helps me with this process, but eventually, obviously, he'll be able to do that by himself. I recommend putting the same thought into your toddler's socks and shoes as well. So where should socks and shoes be that will make everybody's life easiest? Then make sure that they're down on your toddler's level. All of my kids' socks and shoes are stored in this organizer by our back door. This is where we're always coming and going, so it just makes the most sense for us. Alright, so now with our system set up, let's talk about what's actually in each of these bins. So tip number 2 is to only have acceptable options out. All of your toddler's wardrobe options should be acceptable for them to choose. In other words, there should be nothing in these bins that you don't want them wearing. So this is so important, because what happens when our toddler brings us a pair of shorts and it's snowing outside? Well, we're probably going to tell them no. Then they're going to get upset and they're going to cry and scream, and we're going to try to talk to them rationally through the whole process of why that they can't wear shorts today, to no avail, of course. And that will only get us really upset, and this is the exact battle or power struggle that we are wanting to avoid at all costs. So whenever possible, we want to avoid needing to fight a battle with our kid over their outfit. In my last video, I talked about being super selective about the battles that we're picking with our toddler. Basically, our goal is to eliminate as many moments of friction between us and our toddler as possible, so that when we do have a battle that really needs to be fought, then we have more ammunition at that battle. So typically the way we achieve this is by being smart and letting go of control. So with their clothes, this translates to only having acceptable options out and then giving our toddler free rein with those options. So for me, this means shorts stay out of the bins until every single day is consistently warm enough for them to be worn. It also means that church clothes and his swimming suit are stored in a different place out of reach. It also means that I donate or throw away any clothes that get stained, have holes, don't fit well anymore, or just are something that I'm not totally happy with him wearing. When we only have acceptable options out for our toddler to choose from, we're set up for an automatic win. We have enough control over the situation that we feel like we can give the choice about what to wear to our toddler. So this may sound a little daunting to think about letting your toddler put on whatever they want, right? What about matching and not wanting your kid to look like a total weirdo? That's where number 3 comes in, which is to shop intentionally. Do you guys know about capsule wardrobes? I hope you do, because they're amazing. A capsule wardrobe is a collection of clothing that is composed of interchangeable items only. Basically, everything matches everything. So when you're buying clothes for your toddler, you want to have a solid picture in your mind of the look that you're going for. I'm no fashion expert. By no stretch of the imagination am I big into fashion, but I definitely want my family to look put together, right? I never have a Pinterest-worthy wardrobe. None of us do, and that's not that important to me. But I think we look totally put together every day because I make sure that all the tops match all the bottoms. So I'm a pretty simple person, so I usually just choose 1 or 2 colors of pants and then pick tops that match both of those colors. Solid tan, solid gray, solid blue, those are probably what I would lean towards for my boys' bottoms, and then black or blue for my daughter. And then a couple tips that have been really helpful for me are to go to the store with the intention of buying their entire wardrobe for that season. So this can help with matching as well as making sure you're buying the right amount of everything. So it makes it really easy to just hold everything up because you're physically there looking at it, hold things up, make sure they match, make sure they're the right shades or they're not clashing. It will also help you avoid overbuying or underbuying, so you can get the exact amount that you're actually wanting. Another option is to just keep a record in your phone of everything that you've purchased. So if you prefer a more kind of a la carte approach to your shopping, you just keep track of the colors and the number of items that you have so that you know what you actually have, know what you have left to buy, and you're not going to buy too much. On that note, I will say that I tend to shoot for about 4 bottoms and probably about 6 tops for each of my kids. We do laundry regularly, and it's just a lot easier for us to manage a smaller amount of clothes. It also makes it less daunting for my kids to make a choice about what to wear every day. There are honestly a lot of benefits about having a more minimalist wardrobe, so that's what we choose to do. Alrighty, so while we're still talking about shopping, let's move on to number 4, which is to respect your toddler's preferences. Letting your toddler choose their clothes should go beyond allowing them to pick from what you bought them. We want to have getting dressed be enjoyable for them and exciting for them, so take their preferences and their interests into account. If she loves the color pink, incorporate that as much as you can. If he's crazy about dinosaurs, be on the lookout for awesome dinosaur shirts. If he avoids or cries when he has to wear jeans, get something that he can move in a little bit better. It never ceases to surprise me at how young of an age my kids start having preferences with their clothing. At 1 year old, my kid would occasionally throw a tantrum if I didn't choose the shirt that he was wanting to wear. So some days he's totally indifferent still, but some days he does have a preference. So I see so much value in including their preferences in the selection that we make available to them. Clothing really shouldn't be a choice that we get to make for them, but believe me, I know how hard it can be to let that go. For me, it really just comes down to facing the reality that our baby's growing up, right? They're now a toddler who has an opinion and preferences and who wants to be independent. So let's just remind ourselves of all those wonderful days when they were a baby and we got to choose every single outfit, have so much fun getting them dressed, and have total say over their appearance. Those days are coming more and more to an end, and that's okay. We want to raise a human who is capable and comfortable in their preferences and just knows what they like. So remember, Child's Face said, "You don't have to earn my love and you can't lose it." That's the message we always want to be sending to our kids. We're going to choose to not fight this battle with our toddler and to just love them even if they don't wear exactly what we would love for them to wear. Don't get me wrong, I wholeheartedly want my kids to know how to put together a decent outfit, and that's why we talked about capsule wardrobes. I accommodate their preferences and their interests in those choices that I'm giving them, and that way I can be happy and they can be happy. So my last tip, number 5, is to not be precious about your kids' clothes. Toddler hand-me-downs are totally worth considering if someone's offering, in my opinion. Of course, it's better for the planet, better for our wallet, but the bigger benefit is I think you're going to be less likely to be stressing out over your toddler ruining their clothes. We all want to teach our kids to take care of their things, but in my opinion, a toddler shouldn't be burdened by that yet. They get to be in charge of playing, spilling, getting dirty, and all those messy things that provide such important learning for them. Once again, clothes can turn into such a battle between us and our toddler. Imagine if we're constantly fighting them on keeping their clothes clean. Holy cow, anyone would lose their mind. So talk about a losing battle. Instead of dealing with this constant friction, let's just let go of the stress, the nagging, the shaming, all of that negativity. Let's just anticipate and accept that our toddler's clothes may be in pretty rough shape by the time the season is done, and that's totally okay. So all of that is why I think hand-me-downs are awesome. And then I typically thrift to fill in any of the gaps. But really, it doesn't matter how you get the clothes or how much you pay for the clothes. I think the bigger lesson here is just to not be precious about them. It's just not worth the headache for you or your toddler. Okay, even after those 5 tips, there might still be a bunch of question marks on your mind. What if my toddler wants to stay in her jammies all day? What if they have a favorite costume or dress up that they always want to wear? What if they want to wear the same thing over and over again? All of these things, solving toddler clothing issues comes down to one simple principle: ground rules. So laying down some household ground rules with your toddler will eliminate any and all of the exceptions to this picture perfect setting that we've talked about with these 5 steps. So because even after we do everything right, your toddler is going to find a way to put a wrench in your perfect system, right? We all know that. So all we have to do is to identify the problem areas and decide what's okay and what's not okay in our house. There's no right or wrong, so we're just going to tailor this to our values and what we're comfortable with. To help you brainstorm, here are some of my ground rules about clothes in my house. So kids can't leave the house until they're dressed for the day. This includes even just going and playing outside. So this naturally eliminates any jammy drama. You might decide to have a similar rule for dress-ups. I'm pretty sure I ended up having that rule when my daughter was a toddler because she lived in her dress-ups. They were very important to her. But I got to a point where I never allowed her to wear them outside the house, honestly, because they would just always get ruined dragging on the road, and that just bugged me. They're kind of expensive. So another ground rule for my toddler right now is to put shoes on when he leaves the house. He gets to choose which shoes, but he has to wear some shoes. He rides bikes and scooters enough that I just have to know that he's got shoes on his feet anytime he's outside. Another ground rule here is that clothes need to be washed after being worn, which prevents re-wearing dirty clothes over and over again. So do you get the idea? Those are some ground rules that will cover anything that is kind of outside of the realm of just these normal steps. So get out there, conquer your toddler's wardrobe, make life easier for everyone by doing a bit of work up front and just establishing a system that works for both of you. You're doing fantastic, keep up the good work, and we'll see you next time.